Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment, we bring to you objective questions to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. The 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 transferred forests and protection of wild animals and birds to the Union list under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Protection of forests and wildlife is the fundamental duty of citizens of India. We have to select the correct statement. The second statement is correct, that it is a fundamental duty of the citizens of India to protect forests and wildlife. The first statement is incorrect because the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, it transferred the issue of forests and protection of wild animals from the state list to the concurrent list and not union list. Earlier it was in state list and now it's in the concurrent list. Okay. First is incorrect, second is correct. The correct answer is option B. Through the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, forests and protection of wild animals and birds were transferred from the state to concurrent list, along with how many others? Education, weights and measures, and administration of justice. Article 51, Clause A, Subclause G of the Indian Constitution, it states that it shall be the fundamental duty of every citizen to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests and wildlife. Moving on, consider the following statements. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a flagship scheme for focused and sustainable development of fisheries sector. PMMSY is a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. We have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. The Union government is considering increasing the unit cost of deep sea fishing vessels under the park-based scheme to make it more attractive to fisher folk. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a flagship scheme for focused and sustainable development of the fisheries sector. PMMSY is a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Moving on, consider the following statements. Tinospora cordifoli, that is Giloy, is indigenous to hilly regions of Indian subcontinent and it gets its name from heart-leaved moonseed by its heart-shaped leaves and its reddish fruit. We have to select the correct statement. Second is correct. The first is not, because it belongs to the tropical region and not hilly region of India, Indian subcontinent. The correct answer is option B. Recently, the Ministry of Ayush clarified that Giloy is safe to use, but similar looking plants circulation such as Tinospora crispa can be harmful. Tinospora cordifoli is indigenous to tropical regions of Indian subcontinent. Moving on, which of the following joint exercises are held between India and UK? Ajay Warrior PASIX, Konkan, Garud Shakti. We have to select the correct answer using the code. So, Ajay Warrior, PASIX, Konkan, these are a part of the exercises between India and UK and not Garud Shakti. So, Garud Shakti being ruled out, the correct answer is option C, 1, 2 and 3. Recently, the 6th edition of the India-UK Joint Company Level Military Training Exercise, Ajay Warrior, has commenced in Uttarakhand. India and the UK participated in a 2-day bilateral passage exercise in the Bay of Bengal. When we talk about the joint exercise in Navy, it's Konkan between India and UK, and Air Force is Indradhanush. Moving on, consider the following statements. Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone is an internationally recognized zone which allows Taiwan to take action against any hostile aircraft. One China policy is not recognized by USA. Taiwan Strait lies between China and Taiwan only. We have to select the correct statement. So, one China policy is a policy which tells the entire world by China that if any country wants to have official diplomatic ties with Taiwan, it needs to sever ties with China. So, the second one cannot be correct. Why? Because China and USA, they do have a diplomatic relation, formal diplomatic relation. And Taiwan and USA have an informal diplomatic relation. So, one China policy is recognized and acknowledged by the US. Second is becomes incorrect. And Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone is different from the airspace, the internationally recognized airspace. Okay, so the first statement is also incorrect. And the correct answer should be 3 only. Why? Because Taiwan Strait lies between China and Taiwan only. The correct answer is option B. China-Taiwan relationship has been strained for years, but the latest escalation comes from a series of air incursions by the Chinese military. The concept of an ADIZ is not defined in any international treaty and is not regulated by any international body. It is determined by a country in the interest of national security. It is a self-declared region, which is monitored by the country's military for defense purposes, and One China policy is the diplomatic acknowledgement of China's position that there is only one Chinese government. Under the policy, the US recognizes and has formal ties with China rather than island of Taiwan, which China sees as a breakaway province to be reunified with the mainland one day. Taiwan Strait is between China and Taiwan only. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements. Ecological Threat Report 2021 is released by the UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme. The theme of the report is understanding ecological threats, resilience, and peace. So we have to select the incorrect statement. The first is incorrect. Second is correct. The correct answer is option A, one only. The report Ecological Threat Report ETR 2021 was released by Institute of Economics and Peace and not UNEP, which is an international think tank. Around 1.26 billion people across 30 countries are suffering from both extreme ecological risk and low levels of resilience, according to a new report. The theme of the report is understanding ecological threats, resilience, and peace. Moving forward, consider the following statements. Repo rate is the rate at which the central bank of a country, Reserve Bank of India in India's case, lends money to commercial banks in the event of any shortfall of funds. Reverse repo rate is the rate at which the RBI borrows money from commercial banks within the country. Accommodative monetary policy is when central banks contract the money supply to boost the economy. We have to select the correct statement. The first statement and the second statement, these both are correct. But the third is incorrect because accommodative means the policy of the central bank in which expansion of the money supply begins and not contraction. Okay, so the correct answer is 1 and 2, right? Option A. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India has maintained a status quo on interest rates for the 8th consecutive time and retained the monetary stance as accommodative. Repo rate is the rate at which the central bank of a country lends money to commercial banks in the event of any shortfall of funds. Reverse repo rate is the rate at which RBI borrows money from the commercial banks within the country. Accommodative monetary policy is when central banks expand the money supply to boost the economy. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to MyPort app. It has been launched by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. It will enhance transparency with respect to the services at different domestic airports. So we have to select the correct statement. MyPorts app has been launched by the Ministry of Shipping and not Ministry of Civil Aviation, and hence the second statement also becomes incorrect. The correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways has launched a port mobile application called MyPorts app. The app includes all port details digitally and monitors operations virtually, targeted towards port users for availing various port services. The app is aimed to promote transparency and easy access of port-related information. The app also has various informations like vessel berthing, rake and indent, rake receipt, container status, tariff, bills, port holidays, etc. and can be accessed anywhere 24/7 and reach out directly to the port. Mission Kavach Kundal, recently seen in the news, is a scheme of which of the following states or union territories? Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh. The correct answer is option C, Maharashtra. As a part of the central government's target of achieving 100 crore vaccination by 15th of October, Maharashtra government yesterday launched a special 7-day COVID-19 inoculation drive called Mission Kavach Kundal with a target to vaccinate 15 lakh people every day. Moving on, Luzon Strait separates Java and Sumatra, Java and Taiwan, Taiwan and Philippines, Singapore and Malaysia. Luzon Strait separates Philippines from Taiwan. Okay? So, the correct answer is option C. Remember this. Moving on, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen has said that the country does not seek military confrontation but will do whatever it takes to defend itself. The Luzon Strait is the strait between Taiwan and Luzon island of the Philippines. The strait thereby connects the Philippine Sea to the South China Sea in the Western Pacific Ocean. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize 2021 has been awarded to the winners for their efforts to safeguard freedom of expression, which is a precondition for democracy and lasting peace. The Nobel Peace Prize is awarded by the Swedish Parliament. We have to select the incorrect statement. The first statement is correct. Second is not, because it is awarded by Norwegian Parliament and not Swedish. So the correct answer is option B, 2 only. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2021 to Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov. The award is for their efforts to safeguard freedom of expression, which is a precondition for democracy and lasting peace. Ms. Ressa and Mr. Muratov will receive the Peace Prize for their courageous fight for freedom of expression in the Philippines and Russia. Moving on, consider the following statements. Jim Corbett National Park was set up in 1936 as Asia's first national park and was called Hilli National Park. It was renamed Ramganga National Park, named after the river that flows through it. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.